welcome to the next installment of the Train Picker. Today I'm on a train in Switzerland and I want to talk about train tickets here. How to get a good deal on train tickets, what sort of ticket to buy, and also the whole ticketing situation in Switzerland. And because I'm the Train Picker, I'll also have a reflection at the end of that.
When you get a standard price ticket in Switzerland, the prices are really quite high. For example, a trip in the city of Bern costs 16 francs and 40 rappen for 2 adults and 2 children. That's about 34 New Zealand dollars. For long distance trips, it's also quite expensive. For example, for a family of 2 adults and 2 children from Bern to Zurich Airport, that would be 156 francs, or that's about 325 New Zealand dollars. And that's second class. If you would go first class for that family, it would be 268 Swiss francs or 558 New Zealand dollars. Who could afford that? Probably not even the Swiss with their relatively large salaries. And tourists couldn't do it either. But there are clearly a lot more affordable options out there. First of all, a note on the difference between first and second class. Most trains generally have both classes, so both first and second class, but some local trains have only second class. I think second class is totally adequate with fairly comfortable seats. But the first class seats are generally bigger and more widely spaced. I suppose the real reason why some people would want to pay a bit more is that generally first class is not as full and also is less likely to have groups of school children or groups of working pensioners traveling or families with children. You certainly don't get snacks or any other extras on standard Swiss first class. And another note on ticketing in Switzerland, you have to buy the tickets before you get on the train. There's no ticket control before you get on a train, but there's often ticket control while you are on a train. If you are in the country for just a few days, the Swiss travel pass products aimed at tourists are actually quite a good deal. These give you a few days of travel on most train lines in Switzerland, most lake ships, most funiculars, many cable cars, and nearly all buses. And that from as little as 30 francs per day. That's about 64 New Zealand dollars for travel on 15 consecutive days. It's a bit more expensive for short stays where you may only be here for 3 days or so. You can pay up to 93 francs per day or about 194 New Zealand dollars per day. But the flexibility that gives you is quite amazing, and it's generally still cheaper than the standard price. What's more, if you've got children, they travel for free if you've got a Swiss travel pass. The Swiss travel pass is also more affordable for young people under 25. Another good option is the Swiss half fare card. By paying 120 francs, you can get public transport tickets for half the price. This also includes the option to take your children along for no additional cost. If you're here for a bit longer, then it's worthwhile looking at the many tickets aimed at locals. There's a dizzying array of those. These are also available to international guests. Key to those is generally the Swiss pass. You don't have to live in Switzerland to get one of those. I've had mine sent to New Zealand, and since we're here for more than a month, I've loaded the annual half-fare card on it, which costs 190 Swiss francs. And our children got the junior card. That means that they can travel for free with their parents. And from there, it's important to look out for savings. For example, day cards are often the way to go for longer journeys. For some time, Swiss Railways SBB offered the 2-for-1 day card for 78 francs, so that's got the whole family around the country for that amount. The Saver Day Pass is available from 29 francs per person, but normally you can get it from around 60 francs per person. That's what they normally are sold for. It has to be purchased a few days in advance. If you decide on the day to get a day card, again, it will cost you 78 francs per person, at least if you already have got the half fare card. At the moment, the Swiss Railways are running a trial of their Generalabonnement or GA for a month. And that normally is sold for a year, and it allows you to go on nearly all trains and buses and so on for that whole year. But with a trial fare GA for a month, you can get to experience that, and that's just over 350 francs for that 1 month. But you shouldn't only look at the official transport providers for a deal. Supermarkets, Swiss Post, and other shops also often offer public transport day passes. When we were there, the electronics shop Interdiscount offered a day pass for lake ships. And in addition to that, local tariff zones often offer a good deal. We've got monthly passes for Bern for 82 francs, allowing us to travel around the city. When we needed to go just a bit further, connection day passes were a good option. Around the city of Zurich, the 9 o'clock pass is a really good deal, allowing you to travel on trains, ships, trams, and buses for just 13 francs and 50, at least if you've got a half fare card already. As you can see, there are lots of ways to save on ticketing. I could mention quite a few more, but you get the idea. It generally means that the locals get a better deal than tourists. But unless you're here for just a short while, you're not really milked either, I think. Now, there are a few services such as the Glacier Express, the Bernina Express, or the Jungfrau Joch that are aimed specifically at tourists. But otherwise, many of the public transport services are aimed both at the transport for tourists and locals, and often to recreation experiences. The tourists support a good public transport system rather than being milked for experiences. Now, I feel like someone somewhere in between a tourist and a local here in Switzerland. When I travel on a service that is full of tourists, I don't get upset, but rather think that these tourists enable such a great overall transport network. I think it's a great part of the Swiss public transport system that it is for visitors and locals alike. And I would hope that this could be the case in many more places. As the train vicar, maybe I can relate that also to the church. The church can also be a committed community that works together and at the same time can be welcoming to visitors. It can even work together with non-Christians for the sake of God's kingdom. By the way, there's no need to travel on the Glacier Express. You can travel on the same route on normal trains for less and without booking, and you'll be able to get off for a while and catch the next train an hour later.